Hey, it's me. I'm back. So, look, I wanted to come to you guys today with 5 questions you should be asking your publisher before you sign your book deal. And the reason why I'm talking about this is so many of you are getting out into the market. You are excited about all the possibilities because trust me, there are a lot. So if you got your first book deal, congratulations. But if you are right at the beginning before you sign your book deal, I want to give you some questions that you may want to ask. Not to stop your book deal, because sometimes just by having the information, at least you are informed. But there's nothing like walking into a meeting with your publisher armed with some things that you may not have thought about before that will help you determine if this is the best deal for you right now. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to do is I want to talk about this. If you are running into a situation where a publisher is asking you to give them money, then it is not a book deal. It is a service. So you would see these kind of things if you don't have a book cover, if the publisher is going to be typesetting the book, editing the book for you, putting the book out into a market, and then giving you access to these files for you to upload to KDP, for you to upload to Barnes and Nobles or whoever you use, then that is a service. You would pay for that. But if they're telling you that you have a book deal, you should not come out of your pocket at all in terms of any fees or anything at all. So before you sign this book deal, if a publisher is asking you to sign, give over some money or a check, that's a red flag. You want to make sure you pause and understand exactly what it is that they're doing for you. Okay, I'm looking at my notes. The next thing is, what happens if you go out of business? The reason why this is so important, and you want to ask your publisher, look, I'm excited about this, but in the event you go out of business, what will happen? The reason why this is a big deal is oftentimes publishers will sell their backlist when they go out of business. And that's a problem, especially if the publisher that you are with aren't letting you know. In some cases, they are leaving it to the new publisher to introduce themselves. In other cases, you are just out of the loop. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're armed with this question before signing your book deal. In the event you are no longer in existence, are you going to give me back my rights, which is what you want? You want at least the opportunity to have your rights back. Or are you going to facilitate the relationship with the new publisher so that I know who they are? Are you going to send me some information in the mail so that I know that you are transferring my book rights? You just want to make sure you have this information, especially if you've been with this publisher for so long and they are responsible for all of your works. It may not hit as hard if it's just one book, unless it's your best-selling book. But if you are in a big relationship with them, having this information in advance will save you a lot of time. Because in the situation that I had with my very first publisher, they signed or tried to transfer my book rights to another publisher, and I didn't even know. And when I did find out, I got all involved and was able to stop it right away. But a lot of my peers weren't able to do it, weren't as aggressive as I was. And so they are still dealing with that to this day. So that's one of the things that you want to know. The third question is, what happens if the editor is no longer working with the publisher? If you are signing a book deal with a major publishing house, publishers are really powerful. Not publishers, I'm sorry, editors. This is what happens if the editor leaves. Editors are really powerful because in a lot of cases, editors are the first people who see your book. They believe in your book. So if you're with one of these major publishing houses and the editor happens to leave, in a lot of cases, the book can just be shelved and you won't know what's going on with your book. So you want to speak to your publisher and say, look, in the event that the editor that you use is no longer there, will you continue to sell my book? At the very least, can I have my rights reverted back to me? There's nothing wrong with being armed with these questions before signing your deal. So again, in the event an editor enjoys your book and that editor leaves and no longer works on your book for whatever reason, who is going to be responsible for my book? You want to have that information in advance, okay? The next thing is, can I keep my audiobook rights? Audiobooks are booming. There are actually publishing houses right now that are being created whose sole focus is to publish audiobooks. So with that said, just because you are giving away your mass market rights or your paperback rights or your ebook rights doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give away your audiobook rights. Remember, everything can be negotiated. So always ask your publisher, is there an option or the opportunity for me to keep my audiobook rights? And if they say no, at that time, you can still make a decision on what it is that you will do. But just having this question in advance will make you more prepared than a lot of your peers. Finally, what happens if my deadline to finish my manuscript is not missed, or is missed rather? Generally speaking, when you get your very first book deal, the book is already complete. But there may come some time where you are out there, if you're really popular, you are on your social media campaigns, you are really showing who you are, that a publisher may come and say, look, I am interested in you writing this book for me. We're going to give you an advance. So this is the deadline. If you aren't able to meet that deadline, a whole lot of things can happen. You could be charged back. You may have to give your advance back. It could be a lot of things. So knowing in advance what will happen in the event you miss your deadline, if you have a book deal set up like this, will have you armed. Remember, you're just asking questions. One of the things that I always tell writers, first-time writers, to understand, when you're stepping into these meetings, come with all of your questions first. You don't never really want to send questions to your publisher because it'll be annoying. So look at your contract. Think about everything that may interest you, everything that may be a problem, or just all of the questions you may have. It may not necessarily be a problem. And then based off of that, set up a time to speak to your publisher. But there is nothing wrong with asking, if you have this type of book deal where they're coming to you for a book. It happens to me all the time. What happens in the event I miss my deadline? Do I have to pay back my advance? Publishers normally give you a date that is nowhere near the real date. They understand that things come into play. So for instance, they may say your book is due on January 15th. You may actually have on their schedule March 15th or something. They may push something out because they understand things happen. But in the event that something does happen with everything that's going on in the world, you at least want to know. I hope this has been helpful. Look, we are starting our very first How to Write a Book in 7 Days challenge, okay? And it's based off of my video course, How to Write a Book in 7 Days Without Writing. I'm going to teach you guys exactly what you need to do to get your book done in 7 days. I've done this many a times, and I actually did this with my very first 2 books, Black and Ugly and The Hustler's Son, so it can be done. And with this new technique I'm going to teach you guys, it can be done without writing. You heard me, without writing. I'm going to show you how to do it with your voice, and it's timed down to the minute. So if you're interested in that course, the link is going to be in the bio. If you're interested in the challenge, you can also take advantage of that too. I hope this information helps you. I hope you are able to have all of your dreams come true. Again, follow me, subscribe if you haven't, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye.